Welcome back to Unit 4 Psych. In the previous video, we introduced the notion of the neural basis of learning. In this video, we're looking at how the nervous system and brain can change over time. We refer to this phenomenon as plasticity. There are two main types of plasticity: developmental plasticity and adaptive plasticity. The names are appropriate because they aptly describe what is happening. Developmental plasticity occurs as we develop over our lives, and adaptive plasticity occurs if we have to adapt to certain life events. Let's look at each in a bit more detail. In the early stages of our lives, our brains are particularly open to change. Like this lady, our brains in childhood are flexible. This tends to remain the case until about early adulthood, when things start to settle down a bit. As a result, many things are more easily learned in childhood than in adulthood. For example, learning a language is a lot easier if you learn it from birth compared to trying to pick it up at a later stage. The changes that occur during this period can be considered to be developmental plasticity. Changes in the adult brain still occur, but are less common. When the brain has grown up, it is less vulnerable to developmental plasticity, but it can still occur in adaptive plasticity, which tends to come about after brain injury or trauma. In these situations, the brain has to adapt to something that has happened to it. It is not uncommon in adaptive plasticity for unaffected parts of the brain to start performing functions that they usually would not. That is, the brain adapts to the new situation in order to minimize the damage. Isn't the human brain just an incredible thing? So let's look at this question from the 2011 VCAR exam. It is worth 2 marks, and we need to describe 2 features. Logically, that means 1 mark per feature. So we could write something like this. Adaptive plasticity tends to occur following brain injury or trauma. New neural connections are formed. Secondly, unaffected parts of the brain may begin to compensate for damaged areas, taking on functions that they usually would not. Super! Next up, we're going to look at some models of learning, starting with classical conditioning. Keep working hard and have a psychedelic day.